The constantly forcing Trevor Slattery down my throat, I'm not so into.
Yeah.
You're now rocking with TDF Everything. Spoiled Rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome and welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
It's me, Daniel,
And this is Ben.
on Spoiled Rotten. And today, we are talking about the show Wonder Man from Marvel. With Yahya Abdul-Mateen and Ben Kingsley. Almost called him Ben Slattery.
That's Sir Ben Kingsley to you.
Not to be.
I know.
Certainly not to be.
Apparently on set he's very, very insistent on. I was like, no, call me Sir Ben Kingsley. And I'm like,
I mean, yeah,
oh.
I get it. I remember when my grandfather would be like, I'm a doctor. You can't call me Mr. Anderson. I'm Dr. Anderson.
That's fair. That's fair. It's just, yeah. That's where that joke came from. Definitely not supporting the monarchy over here.
No, I mean, I don't care, but I fully endorse him being like, look, you know how much I got to go through to become knighted. You're going to call me Sir Ben Kingsley.
In all fairness, if I was ever knighted, I would be like, I would be pulling the same shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you weren't knighted.
So
I totally get it. We're not the same. Like, get on my level.
I also like that in one of the interviews I saw, he was like, you know, they asked me, oh, when are you free? Like, I have anything else to do. And I was like, jeez. I was like, wow, I didn't know you were hurting for work, but here we are. Well, yeah, we're going to be spoiling the whole season. That's
right.
We've been doing episode by episode for Fallout, but all 8 of these episodes dropped at the same time, and we're here to talk about all 8. So we will be spoiling anything that happens in these 8 episodes, and pretty much anything I can remember from Marvel or anything I think is relevant.
That's right.
I was going to, before I watched, read some Wonder Man comics, but then I started watching the show. I did watch it all in one sitting, and realized that I don't think it matters. I don't know if knowing this character or feeling like you like this character's lore would help you enjoy the show.
Yeah. I mean, I would love for people to contact us to know if it did, but to me, I'm like, I was setting myself up for a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of experience where I'm like, I know nothing about these characters. I want to, except for Trevor, obviously.
Yeah, we know Trevor.
Nothing about Simon Williams, nothing about Wonder Man. I am just on board because Yahya is here, and Ben Kingsley is here for Trevor Slattery because I really love that character. And I'm just like, I just hope that they blow me away with something I didn't know, and I'm glad I took that route because I don't sometimes like the bias that I have about what that character's supposed to be in my head.
Yeah, I think you made the right choice, and I made the right choice by not bothering to read anything, because, and I don't mean this as an insult, this show is not interested in Wonder Man from the comics.
It really isn't.
And I mean that when I say I don't mean that as an insult. This, more than it wasn't interested in how Star-Lord is written in Guardians of the Galaxy comics, this show is just, what if an actor had superpowers?
Yes.
I see the people being like, how come he's not doing superhero shit? And I'm just like, I feel like early on I realized this is not a superhero show. And I appreciated that. I was like, you know what? If we're doing these TV shows and people are worried about how things tie into everything, this is a good way of, using this time to flesh out to, as I said, I was not a fan of Trevor Slattery. I am after this show.
Oh, nice! It got you to change sides.
But that's because they took the time to actually have him care about something. In the previous the previous outings for him, he didn't care about anything.
That's true.
He was used for comic relief, and I was like, yeah, this is funny the first time. This was like, no, this is his story and Simon's story.
Yes.
So what I did do is I watched Midnight Cowboy for the first time because that's kind of like their thing. Mm-hmm. And throughout the show, I was like, I feel like if I knew Midnight Cowboy, I'd feel like, whoa, this show's so meta, or that it would be calling its shots. And not exactly the same way, but I do get why that is kind of like the backbone of this and their relation and their friendship. But yeah, spoiler alert, I like this season of television.
Yeah,
I thought it was well used time by Marvel in terms of fleshing out the universe and not being beholden to how does this tie into anything.
I spoiler alert, I liked it too, but how much we'll see towards the end where we actually rate it. But my thing about this is right off the bat, it was pleasantly refreshing having a different take on what it's like to be a superhero and have those powers kind of not
certainly
be in the
superpowered
physical
person.
Yes, a superpowered
not a
person.
superpower show.
True. A superpowered individual that is actively trying to hide their powers because it's inconvenient to the life that they actually want to live. I'm like, oh, that's actually interesting. Like, you know, everyone else is like, how do I be Captain America? And I'm like, this is very much taking a different beat, and I'm all for it. I think it's really, really cool.
So we're gonna go through the episodes just so people know. We probably won't go into as much detail as you're used to when we do beat by beat stuff, but we're gonna try and hit the things. So in the first episode, it starts establishing that Wonder Man was an 80s movie that Simon watched with his dad. Then they go to the present, and this is where I was like, okay, I'm in for something here, which was Simon going over his sides before doing a shoot, and all these notes he's put in there, and I was like, yeah, I know that overthinking. Yeah. I see myself in this overthinking of, you don't know how small of a role he has at that point, but you know that he's like, I can't not show that I did the work. This is where I do think that him being black is important, but I appreciate that a lot of different types of people saw themselves in this character, which I think is a sign of good art. For me, I was very much like, yeah, I get it, that you go in there overthinking everything and trying to look like you belong there. We've talked about the imposter syndrome thing, which I don't know he's specifically dealing with. I think he's specifically just dealing with, like, I need to show that I belong here because of the doorman clause, which we'll get into. But like, this is him being like, I need to cover all my bases. I can't have anyone think I don't belong here.
Yeah, I like that first that opening with the American Horror Story and all that kind of stuff, where he's just like super professional but overshoots everything.
Yeah, he's making too much out of it. Like, I also like that right away. They're like, no, that is actually Ashley Greene from Twilight, because he said, I liked you in Twilight, and it's Ashley. I'm like, oh, she's playing a character, but I'm also like, hey, one of my favorite comedians, Beth Stelling, is in this as the writer. I just really like that he was like, oh, like, obviously I shouldn't be reading this because that wouldn't cover a full curriculum that this professor's, unless you're saying this. And I think everyone responded the right way, which was like, okay, this is not worth it. Like, we don't need all this bullshit. Also, the other meta joke of it's a Ryan Murphy show, and I saw people being like, well, he thought more about that than Ryan Murphy has ever thought about anything in one of his shows. But also that, hey, you're a bit much, man. Like, this is, relax. Like, you're a day player. He didn't even get a golf cart to go to set. All of those things. But I just like that he was like, but I'm going to be the professional here, and I'm going to make sure that there's an authenticity to this scene at the very least. Saying things like, well, I wouldn't let her get that close to me if I'm mad, and all these things where I'm like, yeah, if you were the star of the show, this would make sense, and it would still be annoying, but it's like, you're not going to let them make you feel small, and you're going to try and show that you deserve to be there, and it's going to blow up in your face. Yeah.
I mean, I've certainly had that done in personal experiences, which is why I like right off the bat, I'm like, oh, I get what's going on here. This is awesome. This is really, really good. And it was just so well played because, yeah, like you said, utmost professionalism. But in a situation where it's just like, we just want to rap, man. We just
Mm-hmm.
want to get to the rest of our day. We want to do this.
And
We've
he's
already
ruining
put you in your
shots.
place.
Like
Yes,
like
yes.
when the director's like, "Hey, no, I want you to die in the moonlight," and he's like, "Well, you know, it doesn't make sense for me to walk over there or her to come over here."
Sure.
And even the lighting person's like, "I can change it," and I'm like, "Yeah, see." It's everything you said, but also he is actively changing the vision of what they want to have happen.
Yes, absolutely. It's just like, yeah, you provided too much. You got an inch, and you started to try to take a mile kind of deal. And I'm just like, again, professionalism on his part, but it was just like that unrelenting need to keep going, to polish. It really started to piss the wrong people off, right? Yeah.
So he's fired.
Yep.
And again, like me, to cheer himself up, he went to go see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that's where we meet Trevor, and he's being loud. And I'll be honest, I did not know he was trying to work Simon when I first saw it. I was just like, oh yeah, he's just annoying and loud.
Yeah.
But I guess that's also where the spoilers alert. That's where the Midnight Cowboy stuff comes in of, well, you're now going to pair yourself with someone who's trying to screw you over. Maybe you can win them over, but they are actively trying to screw you over, with Simon being the, you know, Angelina Jolie's dad, John Voight character, and Dustin Hoffman being the Ben Kingsley character. So yeah, they meet, and that's where he, again, just like, he's like, this is another director. And what I also liked about this show is also this loneliness that both of the main characters have, but we're on Simon's side, and I found that so affecting. Like, I was just like, man, he is, it grows and it grows, and it comes to a very beautiful moment later on with his mom talking to Trevor. But even here, where he's like, look, I'm not a weirdo, I just really want to know what you're up to. Yes, he knows he was the Mandarin, but like, he also knew him from other things that he liked as an actor, and this is like Simon's in is acting. So he's like, hey man, like, yeah, we could talk about that. And then he finds out about the Wonder Man audition, and that's what kicks everything into gear. He runs into his agent's office. I think her name's Janelle
Jackson,
played
by X Mayo,
who was amazing in The Blackening. That's unfortunately the only thing I've seen her in. I'm sorry if she's in other great things, but I was a fan of hers from the movie The Blackening, and I was happy that she was in this. Yeah, and you see how resourceful he is when he gets himself the audition. I don't remember the details, but he calls acting like someone else and be like, oh, it was this mistake where Simon's supposed to be on the list and whatever. Can we just fix this? And he gets to the audition, and that's when we hear, oh, well, I don't have a doorman waiver for you, so you're going to have to sign this, assuming, of course, you don't have powers. So they plant that seed. I'm someone who didn't really watch the trailers or any promotional material, so I didn't know that was a thing in this show of, like, you're not allowed to have powers if you're going to act. So that was just, oh, that's something interesting for later.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely watched a few of the trailers, but I don't think any of that came across in the promo stuff, that there was this, like, the need to hide his powers or anything like that. It was just very much like, you know, how traditional trailers are. It's just a vibe check. That's what I got from it more than anything else.
And obviously for me there was like, and I feel like you've alluded to it as well, just the idea that, yes, he's talking about actual superpowers, but the intimidation that can come when you're in white spaces and you feel like, okay, I have to act a certain way or else they're going to think I'm coming on too strong or being intimidating. But yeah, this is where you feel like, okay, or for me, where I feel like, okay, this is a great deployment of Trevor, before I know he's trying to screw him over, of just like, he sees Simon getting all worked up, and I'm pretty sure he does see the, like, purple eye thing, but I don't know if that's important, but Simon's trying to go through his process with him, what we'd already seen him do, like all these notes about everything, and he's like, you really just gotta relax, man. Like, I like what he says. He's like, just say the words, be present, like, just be there. And then he gives him the breathing thing of, like, you just let it all out, clear your head.
The box breathing, which
well, it doesn't do box breathing yet.
Oh,
but yes,
not yet.
He does,
that's later on.
He does
yes.
give him just, blow it all out. Just inhale and just let it all out. Clear your head, which, again, I feel like you and I can both of like, well, no, I'm not going to just forget. I'm not going to have my safeguards in there in terms of how I think about this. But he's like, you got to let it go. You have to.
Yep.
And it works out, obviously.
It works out so well, and having been in that position myself, having received that same advice of you've got to let it go and all that kind of stuff, it's hard to hear in the moment, and it's real, but it's such an effective tool. It really, really is. It's just like, yeah, you're getting in your own head about this, and that leads to inaction. And like now at this point in my life, I'm like, yep, that's great advice. When I was younger, I'm like, oh, that's confrontation right now. Like, what are you trying to do? Sabotage my thing? Like,
well, that's what he says. You're trying to screw me over, and he's like,
exactly.
no, like I actually believe in helping other actors out. Yeah, I just really like that, and I like that Trevor will have his moment later. But like every time Simon acts, like, and that's what's going to happen in the show about an actor, he has to act at certain times. I was just like, oh, like he is. Simon is I already know Yahya Abdul-Mateen is a good actor. Simon is a great actor. Like the way we'd already seen the lines performed in the first scene, but then when he performs them, like he's just disappearing into this role.
Yes.
And it's one thing I really liked about the show is that they weren't just telling you, oh, these two are good actors. Every time they have to act, you're like, yeah, man, like I believe it. I buy them as whatever they're doing right now.
Yeah. Like later on in the season, which we'll get there and all that kind of stuff. Great displays of that. But this in itself is like, yeah, cool. This a show about like actors acting and all that kind of stuff. It's fascinating to me. It genuinely is, because I'm like, how many characters are you playing within one scene? If that's the case, like it's awesome. It's really, really crafty, and like I love it. It's great.
So then they go. They go get drinks, and Simon's kind of like, yeah, I'm never gonna do that again. Clear out my head, but it works, and I like that. He's like, yeah, we should stay in touch. And then Trevor gets the call, and again, I was like, I don't even know who that voice is. I thought it was gonna be. I mean, it ends up being Agent Cleary but like who we've seen in Ms. Marvel and No Way Home. But I was just like, oh. Like, okay, so he is trying to screw him over. But even then, I was like, nah, I feel like he likes Simon. He's in over his head with something. But his goal is to screw over Simon. Got it.
Correct.
But the other sad part, for me, was when Simon texts him the star on the Walk of Fame. I'm like, fuck, like he really likes Trevor. Trevor's going to screw him over.
Yeah.
Because, especially when I rewatched the way they were constantly telling you, like, he's gonna get screwed over by Trevor, and throughout the show, just constantly being like, he doesn't have friends, he's all alone, he's found someone he wants to be friends with, and they have like the parallel between Midnight Cowboy, but also the movie in universe of like, Barnaby's gonna screw over Wonder Man. And you're just like, yeah, like I know, and it's really gonna upset me when it happens, which I feel like is a good sign, even in your first episode, for me to be like, no, he's gonna screw him over. I don't want that.
Yep. I was just so invested right into it for sure. Yeah.
Episode 2, we show how Trevor got into this situation, which he's on the plane, and he's one runner that they have for him is how much he loves his mom, or at least how much he wants to show pictures of his mom. Again, just made me sad because like it never really goes anywhere, but you're just like, yeah, man, this guy loves his mom. And yeah, as soon as he lands in LA, I'm assuming this is him coming back from the events of Shang-Chi.
Must be.
He gets caught by the DODC, Agent Clear. Well, that's the FBI. The FBI captures him, and then he's questioned by DODC Agent Cleary. And they're basically like, you're going to go to jail or you're going to get Simon Williams, which I don't ever think it's explicitly said in the show, but based on how they were kind of going after Ms. Marvel, who ended up being a mutant, I'm pretty sure they're saying Simon is a mutant, because the one thing I know from the comics is Baron Zemo does tests on him and experiments and turns him into Wonder Man, but obviously that's not the case here because he started showing signs during puberty years and it manifested during like things. So I think he's going to be another mutant.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me given how the X gene activates traditionally during puberty and all that kind of stuff, and what they're... Because is it episode 2 that they go to the doctor's office, or with that flashback, or is that later on?
No.
Fair enough, but it's just one of those things where... That is episode 3. So, yeah, I do think that there is a greater tie to the MCU in that regard. Like you said, Ms. Marvel, mutants, and all that kind of stuff. I do think that DODC is going to be involved in that, but I do like the fact that this show is very much not interested in building that world, and very much just like, hey, yeah, that stuff exists. Here's what's relevant, but we're doing this instead.
It is. I would say it's got some... It still has stuff to pay off from Iron Man 3.
Sure.
That feels like the only necessary thing. I don't even call it necessary. Like, but if people were like, well, what should you watch beforehand? I've seen people say like the other things Destin Daniel Cretton did and Ms. Marvel, but I'm like, that's fine. You can watch those, but I do think that there's some cool moments that play better if you have seen Iron Man 3.
Sure.
But it isn't necessary. Like everything is explained in this show.
Yes.
You can't ding them with there's too much homework. You're like you can watch it and just enjoy it for what it is. Or maybe you should watch Frozen before this as well. But other than that, I don't think it's gonna be an issue. But yeah, so that's the setup, is that he's like, okay, I have to capture Simon. They, for whatever reason, want Simon. And I like that he was also like, you can't just make up a production. It needs to be a real production that he would be interested in. Yes. And then I can get him. Because I've seen, when I talked about Heroes Reforged, I saw them. One of them was a bit confused because they went the whole series or the whole season thinking it was just a fake production, and the other two were like, "No, it's real." Yeah, he said that was one of his things, was like, "I'm not going to be able to do this if you just make up a production." But yeah, there's that, and this episode is kind of just they need to do the self tape, so. It's more of Trevor helping Simon get out of his own way. But I do like that that he's trying to capture him. So it's interesting how much of a leash he gives Simon. I don't feel like that's the right way. Like how much rope slack he gives Simon, because he needs to get into Simon's house to put that ring on Simon's computer. But he's like, oh, okay, I'll go with you to this place where you can rent a room and do self tapes, or okay, you can come to my place. That's where I'm like, okay, he's obviously doing this so they can't film there. But like I was like, wow, he's really taking his time, which is not like Simon. Like he's just like, it'll work out. We'll just let this play it out, and then I'll get him there. And it does become way more believable that he'd be like, okay, yeah, I guess we'll go back to your place. But yeah, I guess one thing we forgot in the first episode is that his girlfriend leaves, Wonder Man's girlfriend leaves him, saying the very important thing of, you never let me in, not really. And I'm like, that is a thing of like, he's so lonely because of the secret he has that he can't open up to his girlfriend. So it's not that he's never been in a room with someone else. It's just, even when he's with people, he feels alone because he can't be himself. And I think that was very... As I said, it was very affecting. I thought that was really well observed and played out in this show.
And especially, and I'm glad we went back to that, because the thing she says is accurate, but like I feel so much for Simon in the sense where I'm like, yeah, he can't be for so many different reasons, and then you know it just reminds me of my own stuff. It's like, hey, you can't be yourself around me. I'm like, yeah, I know. There's reasons why, because if I'm to myself around you, then you'll start to be like, I don't know this person at all, because, and I'm talking about the cultural side of me. In the sense
that's what I'm
like,
saying. It's not even, I mean, I don't even see it as, I don't know this person. It's more when that gets rejected of like, well, I don't know about that, or I don't think that's that different.
Yeah, because that is exactly what happened to me. Is like someone got into my life and got me to open up that way. Started being more Chinese, which is trending right now, ironically.
Yeah.
But the idea
Saw a
of
video
like,
on that.
yeah, and then so the idea of like, oh, if you're to yourself, you're just, all of a sudden it's like you're an alien to the other person, and I'm like, this is why like people of color have to code switch like all the time, like because it's just your perception is still going. You're gonna feel like you've been lied to or whatever. So I fully so identify with Simon in that moment of just,
yeah,
like,
that's why this show meant a lot to me, because I
Yep.
felt like this was the other. Yeah, I think that the other thing I'm sure people ding this for without knowing that's what they're dinging it for is that this is not a power fantasy show.
yes,
Like, he's got all these powers that we can see the destruction, which is why I stopped where I stopped, because we know the destruction he can do. Because when his girlfriend leaves, he has the thing and everything vibrates and it smashes everything, which he has to cover with a sheet. But it's like, that's not him being like, how do I harness this to make my life better? It's him actively being like, I don't want this to come out. I want to keep this hidden. Yeah, it's like a point of shame for him.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
so it meant something, and I thought that was really well done. It kind of what really drew me into the show. Once I realized, oh, they're not doing a superhero show. It's like it's just a actually good reason to have your Disney Plus TV shows, which is flesh out the world. I know people still want him to. I guess this is a spoiler for the whole season. He's not a superhero at the end of the show. Like, yes, he flies, but we'll get to why he's flying. It's not so that he can go join the Avengers or another team. It's like I really liked that. It was just like, what would a life like be for a superpowered person in Marvel who has no ambitions of being a hero?
Yeah, like his ambition is Hollywood. His ambition is fame and to act and all that.
It's
kind
not
of
even
stuff.
fame, because it is that honoring his dad's thing of like, no, you're actually good at acting.
That's true.
This is not like, I don't say you're good like other parents say they're good. Their kids are good. Like, you are a good, and we see it like in the first episode. He is a good actor, and so it's not letting that go to waste.
Yep.
That he's honoring his father who's dead. Yeah, I really like that element. But yeah, he basically they do get Trevor gets Simon to a place where he's able to kill the self tape, and Trevor even says like, yeah, they'd be idiots not to give you a call back. This is transcendent. And I agreed. I was like, fuck, man. Like, I liked the first thing he did when he was just like playing both roles and filming it and going back and forth. But yeah, by the time he does it at the end of the episode, I was like, yeah, man, this is great too. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This guy's a great actor. Yeah. And he's got his friend, and he's like, hey, do you want to order pizza? And he goes, well, first he's like, I gotta go pee. And that's when Trevor, I love how Ben Kingsley plays the like, do I really want to do this? And like, yeah, I don't want to go to jail. So he does it. He puts the ring on the computer, and he's looking around, and he sees all the damage that Simon created, being like, oh, that's why they want him. Like, they're right that he is destructive. And then they both just choose to ignore it when he comes in the room and he sees that Trevor sees it, and Trevor's like, yes, I want pepperoni. I like pepperoni. Yeah, that's episode 2. Then we get into episode 3, which is, as you said, Simon's at the doctor, and it feels like everyone is on the same page about this. I don't know if his brother is. That's the other thing. His brother Eric is in this, and I think people were like, oh, that's the Grim Reaper, he's a villain. And I'm like, the show is absolutely not interested in that. He's just there. And I like him as a character too, the more you learn about him. But yeah,
while yes, there is that connection in the comics, they're not doing it here. Like, I'm glad that comic book people are like, oh, in the comics he gets to do this. I'm like, yeah, but they're not doing that here. So like, just chill for a bit.
And in the opening credits for one of the WandaVision episodes, they had his stuff in it.
Right.
So I don't even blame people for being like, oh, they're gonna do it at this early on in the season, because it's like, well, you already like put his gear in an episode of WandaVision. So if you got the character there, and people had already seen imagery of Simon Williams dressed as Wonder Man, even though I feel like it's very clear that it's just for the movie, but still, people have their expectations of Marvel and what they're trying to do, so I can see them being like, yeah. But I feel like everyone's on the same page. Like, even the doctor being like, because it was a fire accident, right? Like, that's what happened, the stove. But the brother was just like, what 13-year-old doesn't know that a stove is on? And I'm like, see, yeah, these are the questions. If I didn't know what was up, these are the questions I would be asking. Because what I liked about the Eric character was what it's like to be the oldest sibling. And so there's all this like pressure on you, and he wouldn't ever be able to be the one that goes off and does acting. He would have to be the accountant that holds everything down. And I like that when he's a kid, when he's 18, I don't remember how old he's supposed to be. They don't ever play it like he is jealous or upset about it. I like that he gets there by the time you see him as Eric the adult. But like, that he's just like, yeah, this doesn't make sense, but he's also like, I just want my brother to be better. Yeah,
I fully get where Eric is coming from as the oldest, because it's just, and I think there's this one line that gets said within another Netflix show, The Brother Son, where the mother, Michelle Yeoh, in that, she goes like, the eldest gets the respect, the youngest gets the love. And I'm like, oh damn, I'm seeing that play out here too, because like Eric is heavily respected by the mom and all that kind of stuff, but you can see how Eric is desperately trying to get the same level of affection that Simon gets from him. It's just like,
or at least to get rid of the responsibility.
Correct. And because like he makes valid points in that episode where it's like, so let me figure this out. It's like, I support my mom financially. My mom supports you financially.
We'll get there. It's this episode.
Yeah, it is this episode. Yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see him being like, hey man, like, I need a chance to be just me and not have to think about all of this.
Sure.
But yeah.
But he is by the books.
I think this. Yeah, basically you see Trevor and Cleary going through the files. Like there's so many self-tapes on this. He's like, yeah, he's an actor.
He's an actor, that's what he does.
But I also like that Trevor was kind of like, this is what people have to do now? You lose being able to be in the room? Because when he auditioned in the room, you saw how he like worked the room and everyone was laughing and liked him. And they were even like, wait, why do I know this guy? And I'm pretty sure he was a terrorist, but like they don't care because he could just like work the room. And you lose that when you do the self-tapes. But yeah, I like that. And Janelle is just annoyed that Simon keeps asking about the callbacks.
Yeah.
I like that Trevor is like, if they don't give you a callback, it means they're clowns making a production you wouldn't want to be a part of. Which is, yeah, I feel like that's just good advice in general for everyone, not just actors. Of like, if you didn't get it, it means you weren't going to be happy in that role or in that work position.
It's true.
It means something there is not a fit. And it's better off in the long run.
That's how I look at things, to be perfectly honest. I tell people this all the time when I was like mentoring students and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, listen, if you got an interview, that means you're on paper qualified to do the job. The interview is a vibe check to see if you're going to get along in the corporate culture. It's got nothing to do with your qualifications. It's got everything to do with your personality. And that's exactly this played out. And it's very much true. It's just like, if they didn't want you, I'm like, do you want to go somewhere where you're not wanted? Like,
yeah,
really?
And I like, yes, it's exactly that, but it's also Trevor as an actor that Simon respects being like,
yeah.
Also, why would they not want someone as good at acting as you in their project? But it is Simon actually having someone he can't talk to him about the superpowers, but he obviously has a better ease acting with Trevor than even with Vivian, his ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
Because it's kind of painful to watch them have their conversation about acting. It's on purpose, it is. But like having something in common with somebody or something you can speak with ease about, which obviously is not something Simon has in general.
Yes. And you very much see that later in this episode too, when they're at the birthday party and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
So Trevor just asked to go to Pacoima with Simon, and I totally buy that. He's like, honestly, it means he says it so we can have a buffer, but I do think there is an element of, then they'll say I have a friend. Not like, because I don't even think he cares that he does say this is my industry friend, but it is like, it's your friend. You've never been able to do this, which is confirmed later by the mom, but like, I like that. I know that some people have, same with Midnight Cowboy, been like, is this like a romantic relationship as well? I don't think that's in the show.
No, it's not.
But I do think that ambiguity is in Midnight Cowboy, and they're putting it up against Midnight Cowboy, and just the way certain people talk about things in this show, but even the way he brings his friend and needs to make a clarifying thing of my industry friend or whatever, like feels like that is top of mind, or at least under the surface there.
Yeah, because at least it's just one of those things like, hey, I know what this is going to look like to everyone else. I'm just going to get ahead of that right away. I don't think there's any underlying romantic thing being played out here. I do think that there is the idea of like, oh my God, someone sees me for who I truly am. And that's intoxicating. That's intoxicating. You can be yourself around them, and then that episode 2, he's like, he sees the destruction on the wall, and then like doesn't leave right away, and just chooses like, hey, we're gonna go on with what we were gonna do in the first place. Like that makes someone feel so comfortable and so trusting. So obviously, I'm like, when he was like, hey, do you want to go to this thing with me? I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. Like, what would be wrong with that? You know?
Martha's great. His mom, Martha's great. She's
love her.
She was in a Netflix show I loved called Chewing Gum.
Yes, I love Chewing Gum.
Yeah, she's the mom in Chewing Gum. So I'm just like, good for you with your other accent, not your British one. Or in that one, it was West African. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this is supposed to be Creole.
Yes, this is. They're a Haitian family.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's what Trevor was tasked with by Cleary was, you gotta interview the family and get dirt. And there is a lot of comedy that comes from that, especially with the neighbor, where at one point Trevor's just like, well, I didn't ask your preference, I just want to know about Simon. And she was like, and he was like, oh. And at one point, Simon's like, hey, you're supposed to be my buffer. And he's like, well, I'm just having fun talking to your family. He's like, no one likes my neighbor. He's like, yeah, she's horrible. I don't like her. But they show off the kitchen that Eric had made for Martha, and the island.
The island, yeah.
Oh, boy. And before everything comes crumbling down, Martha has that talk with Trevor where she was like, he never had a friend. Like, what kind of kid doesn't make friends? And I just thought he was okay with that until one day he fell off his bike, and I made everything better, and he just said, thank you for loving me, which one of my favorite scenes of the whole show was just that element of her being like, even she kind of is overthinking it by being like, well, maybe he didn't mean what I thought he meant, and he was just saying it. But it's like, no, very clearly, you're right about what happened here, which is he was like, you actually love me. Thank you, because then I'd have nothing.
Yes.
And this is after the dad's dead, because I feel like it's very clear.
It is after the dad's dead, yeah. Yeah. Because it was on his dad's bike.
Yes, his dad's bike. Yeah, so like I guess what I meant to say is very clearly he felt loved by his parents. This was not a case of he only got along with his mom. It was just like he felt loved by both of his parents. I'm sure he felt a lot more lonely after his dad died. And just that moment of thank you for loving me. And she's like, he never said it again, but that meant a lot, or that was a big deal that he said that, because it made me be like, oh, he's not okay. And I was just like, fuck. And then Trevor's gonna screw him over. No.
Yeah.
This is his only friend that is gonna screw him over.
That was how I felt every single episode that went by. I'm like, Trevor, you're making me hate you toward the end of this if you do what I think you're gonna do and all that. But just because in episode 2 he just flips so easily, because what's his face? Cleary is like, well, we have 2 choices for you. You can go back and serve the time, which I'm assuming he means oh, during the blip you got to get out and all this kind of stuff.
Well, no, because the Mandarin took him out of jail.
Right.
That's the whole thing, is you never served your time.
That's correct. Yeah, it had nothing to do with the blip. It had everything to do with he was abducted by the real.
I guess
Mandarin.
that is why you should not you. That's why people say watching Shang-Chi is important, because they never explicitly state that. You just know that it's like people are saying you never served your full sentence.
Yeah, but
I know as someone who watched Shang-Chi, because he was literally abducted.
Yeah, but that also could be explained by All Hail the King, that one-off short that Ben Kingsley did after Iron Man 3, because that's when he gets abducted and all that kind of stuff. But either way, I'm just like, all right, well, do we really need to know that backstory? Not really. I don't really.
I do think so, because of what happens later. His sacrifice at the end means something when you know what happened last time he played with the Mandarin's name.
That's very true, yeah.
So I do think it's more important to know about Shang-Chi's version of events than All Hail the King. But yes, and I understand the Mandarin's dead, but his family is not.
Yeah.
Including his daughter, who's tried to take over as him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there was a lot of comedy through that, but then there's the sad moment of the mom saying the whole thank you for loving me story, but also when they're singing happy birthday to the mom and he's literally the only one not smiling, and he's just standing there, and you're like, again, he's around family and friends who disrespect him to his face, but still trying to speak I guess in Creole in front of him, and he's like, I understand what you're saying, and they're like, oh, okay, never mind, goodbye.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I totally get this character, because I'm like, my family does that shit. They'll talk Chinese in front of me, and I'm like, oh yeah. They'll say something, oh yeah, this CBC, which is Canadian born Chinese, doesn't know. I'm like, no, I know Chinese. I can see it right here. And then in the family group chat, they'll talk in Chinese. I'm like, I can't read, but guess what? Google Translate exists, losers. I know you're talking shit about me. What are you doing?
Wow. Yeah. So that isolation, even in family and friends,
it's a horrible feeling. So that
when he was, fuck, man, Trevor, you can't do this to him. He has no one.
That I was just like, that tension to me was like, you're doing such a good job of actually being his friend that you don't know how bad you're gonna hurt him, and this sucks, and you're just gonna save your own butt. Which is to be expected from this character, to be fair. It's consistent. But I'm just like, oh man, this is going to hurt, and I don't like it.
Then we get into the Eric that you were kind of getting to, which is him basically being, I got a promotion. That means that there's room to hire someone else. And Simon's like, but you know I don't want that job. And he's like, oh, sorry, so you do have work. And then he's like, I know you lost American Horror Story, because again, Eric doesn't hate his brother. He's very good at reading him, and I don't mean that in the popular way. Just he's very good at assessing what's going on with his brother and being like, yes, something went wrong, obviously, from the way you're reacting to that. And they talk about the callback, and he's like, I don't think he actually needed to know what a callback was. He just wanted them to say it out loud. So tell me what a callback is. And they're like, well, you do your audition, and then they call you. So it's another interview for a job you still don't have.
Yeah.
But I like that Joe's like, hey man, like at this level, like getting the callback is a big deal.
Yes.
Which I agree with because it means you could be on the radar for other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I don't actually think that means the same thing for a job, like non-acting jobs, but like,
it does not. And this is like, again, family doing this is like, oh, you're going to try to understand this from a reductionist standpoint and be dismissive through and minimize everything through the whole process. It's just like, what the hell are you doing? It's, you know, I'm like, I get what you're trying to do right now, and I don't like it. Because I'm like, you're just trying to flex on me to make me look stupid. Like, okay, cool. Like, you want me to bring up your shit?
He wants to give up on that so that he can just have a secure job. Like, he's...
Yes.
I don't think he's being nice. I'm not excusing it. But I understood Eric. And
Correct.
I felt his stress points as well.
Yes, like they're very well written characters, and it's a very well acted out scene, because on some level, as the old brother, you're just like, yeah, you're kind of, you should really consider something a little bit more stable at some point,
especially when it gets to the present, when Simon gives her the ice cream maker, and
that Eric gave him.
Well, he gave him the money for. Well, he didn't give it to him. He just said, "No? I give you money, and I know Mom gives you money. So really, this is not a gift from you."
Yeah.
So it's actually more insidious that he brought it up, because it's not that he said, "I gave this to you to give to Mom." It's more like, "I know I fund your lifestyle, and I'm sure Mom gives you money too. So I wouldn't be so happy." And again, timing. Like, why would you do that in front of the mom? Because she obviously knows what's going on as well. But it's also like, yeah, man, that's the last straw for him. That this would be the big, oh, thank you, Simon, you're so thoughtful. When it's like, but it's easy for him to do that if it's not his money. If he didn't have to do anything for that. And I don't even think it's being held up against the island and kitchen he made for her, even though that would be a big thing. I think he's just like, geez, like, we know what he's doing, and he's off there losing jobs, and we're treating this like this is okay. Then he says hurtful things, like that he doesn't care about this family, he just does whatever he wants, and he breaks the island. And you are like, obviously they know about this, because they weren't like, oh my goodness, they were just, Simon, that's so annoying that you did that. What's wrong with you? Where it's like, okay, so they're just used to him doing shit like that. At that point, Eric is very well aware of what's going on. It's not like back in the day, which I also like, that he's a character that it's not on screen, but there is growth between the flashbacks and when you see him. Yeah. He is not the same.
He is not the same. It's a very well written character. I mean, Eric and all that kind of stuff, because you're annoyed at him, but you don't hate him, because you're like, that's because your dad would be taking this discussion at some point, and you know what I mean. It's just like, he's
or maybe he knows the dad didn't do this, and now look what like him. Because like,
sure,
we'll get to that episode, but like you are like, hey, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation if someone did have these conversations with him.
I mean, that's because, for the eldest to be pushed into the father figure role is really, really unfair for the eldest as well, right?
Yeah.
So I understand, and I think Eric's character, even though you get such a brief time with him, so effectively well written.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
This is where they're in the car together. Or no, I don't even know if they're in a car. It doesn't matter. Simon and Trevor are away from the house, and he's like, yeah, no one's ever seen that side of me before.
Yep.
And he basically gives Trevor all the information he needs to have Simon taken away, and he's wired. I guess we never said that. He, early on in the episode, they're like, you're going to wear a wire, and you're going to introduce things. And Trevor gets out of the car, and I think that's why I know they're in a car. And he's like, no, don't, just stop. And then he just breaks the memory card. Yeah,
because I think they symbolically drive up to the Hollywood sign or something like that. They just drive somewhere really, really isolated and all that. And, Simon has a very open and honest and vulnerable discussion with him, and he does Trevor does the cool thing. I'm like, you're not total shit.
He does that, and there was also him just being like, you don't understand. Like, if people find out about this, I can't work on the only thing that I love doing.
Yes,
like I can't be an actor. And then that's when they say the doorman clause again.
Yeah,
and the episode ends with them both getting a call back. So that's great. And the way Yahya Abdul-Mateen plays that, like, I'm just like, I'm so happy for him. Like, just seeing how happy that makes him, he really played that really well.
Yeah.
So then the fourth episode is the doorman episode. A great episode, black and white.
Love this episode.
Damar Davis, I think, is the character, and he starts off as a bouncer at a club, and Josh Gad shows up. And Josh Gad isn't even an asshole. He's like, hey man, like, if it's slow out here, why don't you come in and have a drink with me?
Yep.
And we see him doing his whatever snowmen do in summer song.
Oh my god, I love that. I love that so much. I love when actors have the ability to play a douchebag version of themselves. And it Josh Gad doing that with a remix the Olaf, I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. I thought it was genuinely so funny.
It's like the good parts of Entourage.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, and I like that basically they're establishing in this early part when Damar's boss talks to him that she's like, so you're just happy? He's like, I literally get to do what I want to do, and I'm around cool people, I get paid well. And so it's just setting it up like this. He doesn't need to get more famous. He doesn't need to have any other notoriety. He is happy where he's at. But then he goes to take out the trash, and there's a realm that they're referencing here. I don't know what it's called. I know that
the Dark
Cloak,
Realm or something like that.
Something like that. And I believe Cloak from Cloak and Dagger has the same thing.
Yes, they use the exact same access point or whatever it is.
And he becomes doorman, which did confuse me for a bit. Like, because he wakes up in his apartment. I'm like, wait, did he? What? And then the dog goes through him. I'm like, is he dead? Is he not there?
Yeah.
What I like about the show was that they weren't like, oh, I must be doing this. It's like, I guess I just got to keep up. I have to pay attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, he realizes that his stomach can open up a portal to not a different dimension, just a different part of wherever he is.
Yeah.
And he goes to rescue his dog from the apartment. And basically, the next night, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure other stuff happens in the middle, but the important part of this story is that Josh Gad is performing, and the place goes on fire. It was, I don't want to say triggering, that's not the right word, but I was like, geez, I don't know if they should play with this after not rewatching. I'm watching the Puff Daddy doc and remembering that one of his first shows ever, where like people got trapped, and I was just like, this is just too close to that documentary, because I knew that story, but the documentary just for whatever reason made it way more visceral.
Yeah,
I was just like, I don't know. Luckily, they don't stay in it too long, but I was just like, this is uncomfortable. And then he uses his doorman powers to get people out, and they make a point of saying, "You saved everyone." And so Josh Gad's like, "I'm going to pay you $200,000, whatever, to
plus benefits."
Yeah, just work for me. And he's like, "Yeah, deal. I'll take it." And
I like that initial thing by Doorman where he was just like, man, I'm happy where I'm at. He's like truly content. And like, I like how the boss says like, that's a rare thing in this town. Everyone wants to go up. And then he's just like, in that situation, I'm like, yeah, he's only human. You get offered a $200,000 job, you're taking that right away. Like,
especially if it's not like you got a clock. Well, I guess it would take up a lot of your time, but it's not a desk job. So maybe there's some interesting parts of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Then, he basically is doing that for a while, and then Josh Gad is in a movie called Cash Grab, which is hilarious. And they need to solve this issue. It felt kind of Ant-Man of the like, well, they can't just use the nitrous to like freeze everything and break it. And Josh Gad's like, oh, I got a guy for this. And Doorman appears with the comic accurate mask and everything. He always takes it off, but which is MCU style of like show you the real thing and then have the character take it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's there and he's on screen, so he gets famous. He gets pushed into that area that we knew he didn't really want to be in. And he goes back to his old club. He tells the bouncer the same thing. If it's quiet, you can come in and have a drink with us. And he's got his sayings, ding dong, which even when he says, like, when he calls his like fans door knockers, I'm like, it should be knock knock.
Yeah.
You call them door knockers, you recognize that your thing should be knock knock.
I like how that comes back later on in the episode where he's reading tweets about himself, and I'm just like, and that is one of the tweets. I'm like, yeah, what the hell is ding dong?
Yeah, he has that Bart Simpson I didn't do it issue of everyone just making him reduce himself to the catchphrase, including a moment where he's on a talk show with, again, one of my favorite comedians, Carl Tart. I don't remember who he's playing, but it's Carl Tart, and it's great. And yeah, he gets very lonely, and he drinks, and unfortunately, that's right around the time Josh Gad's like, hey, we're going to do a sequel. And he's like, yeah, I need the money, because what we find out is he's losing all these deals. He endorsed a potato steamer that made him lose money. And yeah, he's going to be in the sequel, but he's really drunk on the day. He's annoying people on the way to set. And Josh Gad tries to go through him again and gets stuck while he barfs. And that creates the doorman clause of no superpower people acting.
Yep. Uninsurable is financial reasons why they gave it, but then very, very cool form in the sense where the black and white fades back to color, and then you see that Simon that's watching it on his phone the entire time. I'm like, such a great episode. Just absolutely fantastic from start to finish. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's the doorman clause. Wonderful explanation.
Then we go to episode 5, where Simon and Trevor are celebrating getting their callbacks, and Cleary's calling, trying to get a thing. But I think the big thing here is that Trevor's old drug dealer. I thought for sure he was just one of Mandarin's old henchmen.
Sure.
I was like, he looks like one of them, but it was just an old drug dealer. And this forces Simon to actually use his powers to fight. It's like one of the only times that it's the power fantasy, but obviously he's not happy about it. He's just like, I have to save my friend. I'm not doing this to overpower anyone. I just need my friend to stay alive. And that gets caught on camera by Jaden the asshole. And they chase him. Where he's like, we're going to use your super speed. He's like, no, we're going to use my car. He's like, so you don't have super speed. Hurry up. And I love that they get their sides during the chase, so they pull over to read them.
Yes.
Like, that's the only thing that would stop them from this. It's like, no, your literal livelihood is on the line, but yeah, you should stop and read these sides.
Yeah.
Because I know that at first Simon's like, no, I don't care. And that's where Trevor's like, oh, Barnaby is going to betray him. And he's like, yeah, no, I gotta read this.
Breaks, and then they read it.
But
and then
that's his best friend. His only friend. They catch up to the guy, and he's like, you need to go get my motorcycle from this bad guy. And I like that right away. Trevor's like, I don't think we can trust you. And he's like, well, I'm gonna upload it to YouTube at 9 a.m. automatically. He's like, well, we've already established we can't trust you.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, yeah, like, he's right.
Yeah.
And Simon's like, no, it sounds like something you can do. And the guy's like, yeah, you definitely can do that. It's definitely something you can do. He's filmed from a GoPro, and they has convinced them he could, from his GoPro, just upload to YouTube right away.
Which I don't think you can on that.
No, you
version.
can't. It's very it is. It's not even a question. You can't do it.
I think there are other devices
you can
that
do
can,
that now,
not
then,
a GoPro.
Yeah.
So
then they go to not steal the motorcycle back. They go to demand the motorcycle back from Esteban.
Yes.
And I like that Esteban, I was like, holy shit, you're the Mandarin. And he tries to do a Mandarin impression. And you can see how much it insults Trevor. He's just like, oh, that was bad.
He's like, oh, no, don't do that ever again.
Yeah, you're bad at that.
Yeah.
But I like that immediately. He's like, no, I like Esteban. Like, this guy is the good guy. We aligned ourselves with the wrong man. Like,
yes.
Obviously, Jaden's the asshole here.
Yeah, Trevor's so good in this whole episode.
He's like, no, like, obviously, and so I'm like, no, what are you doing? We need to give them. He's like, I don't think we should. I think that this is the right, like, I like this guy. And he eats the peach rings, and he's like, you gotta try one. These are so good.
That was so funny to me. It's just like, he's like, what kind of drug operation? It's like, this is not drugs, this is candy.
And the neighbor being like, they are drug dealers. Like, we just make candies, please. Yeah. Then Jaden gets, well, he's always been in the car waiting for them, and the drug dealers catch up to them. This, I would say, was the only time I was like, seems like this all wrapped up a little too entourage-like.
Yes.
This is like a police standoff, shots are fired, and they could just run away from the scene. I was like, whatever. The show's not interested in that, but it is weird that it is just like, I guess they're just going to get away with this.
I do at least like the fact that there was a nosy neighbor that initiated the call to the cops to get there, and it wasn't just like, oh, we're just driving by this neighborhood. And
well, I just mean, how could they possibly get out of that without the cops pursuing them?
That's 100% true.
Or the fact that Simon was convinced he was going to get killed.
Yeah.
And because like the drug dealer's like, we're going to kill this kid. And then Trevor's like, please do.
And I like through the whole time while I was like, while the drug dealers are counting from 10, and it's like Trevor's asking the other people, it's like, can you upload to YouTube like, directly from a GoPro? I was like, no. It's like, okay. He just calls it a shot. He's like, give it to us now, and then we'll help you out and all that kind of stuff. They don't.
But I do like that Trevor and Esteban make peace while the countdown is happening. They find themselves. Then they finally hear from Janelle Von Kovac, which is a name I haven't said up until this point, who is the director of the Wonder Man remake, has decided to move things up, and they are needed now at Von Kovac's house to do their callback. And that's the end of episode 5.
Yep.
Episode 6 is a very interesting beginning because you get to see him get into character for the Mandarin. It's the initial audition for Mandarin. I just think it's cool. I was like, oh. Yeah, he started with the British accent, and then he puts on the glasses, a foreshadow to later of the glasses being the thing, and he'll just be like, yeah, this is it. I found it. So yeah, this is Simon is like trying to run ideas by Trevor to be like, hey, like we could do this and make it seem not spontaneous, and Trevor's like, then it's not spontaneous. This is bad. Like, don't stop getting in your way, in your own way. I believe. Oh, by the way, I think the box breathing was in episode 5.
Yes.
But yeah, he's like, no, don't do that. This is stupid. And I was kind of like, I just want them to be a pair though. But Vaughn breaks them up. Trevor does great with his scene partner.
Yes.
And it took me a while, but I was like, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure he's doing Pretty Woman when Simon's doing his thing. And I was so disappointed for him. I was like, no, you can't just roll with it like that? Like, that doesn't make him a bad actor, but I was just like, oh no. And then I was like, no, I get it. You need your safeguards. You need to like know what you can and can't do. You need the limitations to know where the creativity comes from. Sometimes too much choice is no choice.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that prior to him acting out the scene, they meet like 6 other actors or in total or something.
Yeah,
there's
6
in total. But there's one guy that's just like, I don't know, like
I'm just PTA's surf instructor.
Yeah, I'm his surf instructor. He put me in something. Apparently, I'm a natural, and he reads his line and does whatever he does. And Simon's like, "Shit, he is a natural."
And even before they get in the house, I forgot to say, he's like, "Wait, there's one pair of shoes out here," and I'm like, "Oh no, he's overthinking again." And he's like, "No, it's a test because." If this was a shoes off house, there'd be a whole line of shoes, but there's only one. So he's thinking it. And Trevor's like, let's just not give him any fuel to think that we're weird. And he's like, no, I can't do that. And I was like, yeah.
It's
the
funny
overthinking.
because I do love the fact that throughout the whole scene in Von Kovac's house, I'm like, yeah, he's the only one with his shoes off.
Yeah, he took his shoes off. Yeah. And I was like,
Which
yeah, I've never
will
done that, but I
say-
have overthought things like that.
Yeah, I just straight up ask people. I'm like, are you a shoes on or shoes off household?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'd already set up in his head that it was a test, so he wasn't going to ask. He's like, I need
Yes.
to just pass the test.
He just needs to do his own thing.
Then Von Kovac, I guess before they paired off, he basically was like, hey, listen to the first song of the movie. And
Mhm.
I don't know what Trevor's doing here other than just commanding the room, I guess,
Yes.
by not taking it as seriously as everyone else. And then he's endearing himself by telling stories later. But yeah, then they have to get into the thing. They have to improvise. As I said, Trevor did great. Simon did not.
Mm-hmm.
And the director just actively says, that was very disappointing. I'm very disappointed in you. I'm like, fuck, no, that's not good for Simon to hear.
Yep.
Vaughn comes back. Simon's like, all right, I want another chance. And he gets paired up with someone else. And I liked the prompt of like, just pretend you're someone from his past.
Mhm.
And the guy's like, oh, it's going to be from school. And the guy just basically says everything you would not want to hear if you were a superpowered person trying to hide that you're a superpowered person.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if he was acting or not, if I'm being honest. He's like, stop. And I love the worry on Trevor's face of like, not like, oh, this is going to ruin it for him, but genuinely like worried for his friend.
Mm-hmm.
Is how I chose to read it. I really like that. I don't like the fake out of him punching him through the head because it just wasn't that show until then.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
Not, like it's just not, but it's a fake out. He punches a hole through his head, and
then
because then I don't know what
napping.
actually happened.
He just napped.
No, he wasn't, because they're like, oh, I didn't realize he was so soft. So something did happen, and then he went to nap to calm down. Something did happen. Yeah, he backed out of the scene.
I thought
that happened. He just didn't
Right.
punch him. So that's why I didn't like that it was a fake out, because I don't know what actually happened. Just that he left and then took a nap to calm down.
I thought he would just fell asleep somewhere, and then dreamt that whole sequence up.
No, because the director even said, "No, that guy's weak. Like he's so soft. I didn't realize that he was so soft."
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, I just was like, I don't know. Like it's a surprising moment, to be clear.
Sure.
But I just felt like, oh, that's cheap. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should see what he actually did in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So he runs out. Cause yeah, the director's even like, hey man, like what's your deal? You're sleeping here. And he leaves, and then Trevor comes to him again. They have another great conversation about acting and the job, because Simon's like, well, I can't really be the real me. That's what he wants. He wants everyone to be their real selves, and which is why you would default to doing a monologue from another movie, because you're like, well, I can't actually show myself in this scene. And Trevor reminds him, like, but you're not just your powers. You're the sum of every experience you've lived, like every betrayal, everything, like every time. It's a great speech. I'm not going to be able to do justice to, but I was just like, yeah, amazing. And the look that Simon gives, where he's like, I'm locked in. Okay. They go back in. I don't know how they swing it, but they're able to be scene partners, and they just do the scene, and they both kill it. Yep. Then they think they have lost the role, but Vaughn is kind of like, I just didn't want to do this in front of everyone else, but Simon, I was so ready to kick you out, but you're very obviously Wonder Man, and Trevor, yeah, you're our Barnaby. That's great. Simon thanks Trevor, but congratulates him. Trevor congratulates Simon. Then Simon goes off and Cleary abducts Trevor right away. Which is where Trevor is kind of like, yeah, he's everything you said he is, but I need more time, so you can't rush me. He's like, you can't just put me on the stand. Like they're gonna be like, that guy was the Mandarin. No one's gonna believe me, and you know that. So let's do this properly.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just like, no, but I get it, but I was just like, no, this is gonna be so sad when he finally finds out what you've been doing.
Because so at this point, I was just like, "Oh no, he's flipped. He's on Simon's side." Like I was firmly believing that because of
Well,
the
that's why I
SIM
said when he
card thing
finds
and all
out,
that.
not when
Yes.
you actually screw up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I was just like, "Oh, okay. So you're trying to play both sides right now. This is interesting."
Okay, so episode 7.
Yes.
This is where we see the full extent of the day at the movies with his dad, which is they drop off Eric and they're kind of, poor Eric. Hey, don't fill up on stupid shit because your mom's making legumes. Go off to school, and then he just turns to Simon. He's like, "Yeah, you seem sick," and cough, cough. He's like, "Yeah, that's right. Well, let's go see a movie," and then get to eat whatever you want. They go get burgers. They have popcorn. I'm like, so the legumes thing? What's the deal here? Like just that Eric couldn't be a part of this.
Sure.
I knew he had like football practice or something, but it was just like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
It's definitely showing some preferential treatment here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go see the movie, and the dad makes it clear, like, oh yeah, like the glasses are so cool. Like that's what makes it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he has the conversation with Simon about like, yeah, I can't wait to see you up there because that's what you're meant to do. Like you are so good in that play, and I don't mean that like I hate being like, as a father, like I know what he means by like, no, I don't just mean like, oh yeah, you were so good for you, kid.
Yeah.
It's like you're a genuinely talented actor, so that should be fostered.
Yeah.
And things. So that's why I didn't think it was like he was in it for the fame or for glory. He was in it to be like, I'm not going to let my dad down by giving up on the thing that he believed in.
Sure.
Yeah. Basically, after that, we get to see that Simon is living his true life on set. He's got a golf cart. They're taking his order. Obviously, it's different than being a day player. You're the lead of a superhero movie, but it was just like nice to see. He's overthinking his order with the bacon, and just the nice camaraderie he has with Trevor when they see each other. And fitting where he helps Trevor because Trevor's like, it's too tight. So then Simon gives him like, oh wow, that's as tight as Trevor's pants, and she's like, fine, I'll change it. And he gives him the quiet, you're welcome, thumbs up. And then they talk about the line, which before I heard the line, I was like, why are you doing this to yourself, Simon? But then when I heard that, I'm like, he's right. Like, that's a stupid line.
That is
You'll never, I don't remember what the word was, but it basically was like, yeah, why would he say it that way? Like, again, he was right the first time, but in this moment, I'm like, you're the face of it now. Now it really is important that you're not caught saying a stupid line like that.
Right.
But Trevor helps him this time. And so they've both helped each other in quick succession, having a great time. And then they find out they're going to be interviewed by Kathy Friedman. And obviously, Trevor's like, yeah, in the New York Times, that's great. And Simon's like, no, she's a character assassin. She's going to assassinate. And I like that the two actors they picked were attached to Marvel projects. Like, I know they've both acted with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I don't know if they've ever acted with Glenn Howerton, but they both have been in Joseph Gordon-Levitt things. But he was supposed to be Ant-Man, and Glenn Howerton was supposed to be Peter Quill.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny. And I just look, if you can make someone as great as Glenn Howerton seem like an asshole, then what do you think they're going to do to us? So yeah, they start spinning the wheels, and I do like the comedy of Simon trying to be relatable. And it's just like, I heard you like the Bruins. Oh, do you too? I don't. or when he's like, oh, do you want me to order this for you? He's like, hey, you know me. I like to make my own orders. I like to be part of the people. And the other one I like was when they were like, oh yeah, we're just giving this gift to the wardrobe person. Like, oh well, we want to too. And there's a lovely chocolatier in Beverly Hills, and it's like, that's gonna be a lot of money. Well, we love her. It's like $600. Like, do we love her that much? Yes, we love her that much.
Yes, we love her that much.
But yeah, he really starts spinning out when they do the box breathing and stuff. But he starts spinning out because she's like, do you want me to, like, or do you have any friends you want me to interview other than your girlfriend? And then he's like, so he goes, And I would say, yeah, the way that conversation goes when she admits or reveals that she knew his secret, I'm like, because I know how the whole thing plays out now, I'm like, there's no other way of reading this. But when I first was in, I'm like, does she think he's gay? Like, just the way she talked about it felt like someone being like, I'll protect your secret of being a gay person. I'm like, but that can't matter in this day and age. I don't think.
No, it can't.
And also, I've seen the whole season now, and I know that's not what she meant. But it was like, I see where people are leaning into, even if they don't think Simon and Trevor are in a couple, that there is a undercurrent of the fear of being outed as gay.
Correct.
But yeah, that's what she says. Like, yeah, it hurt that you never trusted me with that because I already knew it. And that is how I feel about anyone that's like, I can't tell my secret to my significant other. I have to protect them. I'm like, you think they wouldn't know?
Yeah.
like, oh, they obviously will know. Or they'll just hate you for keeping a secret. But it's not a good idea. Like, we've said this on this podcast a bunch of times, that we're just not a fan of the whole, I have to keep this a secret.
Yeah, the whole
this
secret
is not the
identity
same
thing.
Thing,
it's
but like,
yeah, you've definitely talked me into your camp of things where it's like, yeah, that's stupid. Like, you're making your own problems at that point.
Yeah. Like, if you want them in your life, then they have to have the information.
Yes. Or you have to acknowledge that you're keeping them at a distance, no matter what.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, do you really want them in
Yeah,
your
then
life?
you don't want them in your life,
Yeah,
obviously.
Exactly.
But yeah, as I said, it was also painful having her be like, hey, I got a role, and then him immediately being, oh, I know exactly what we mean. Vaughn, I'm like, no, just let her talk. Like, why don't you act interested in what she has to say?
Yeah, and I like that in this episode, like, it's Trevor that has to coach him to be like, hey, ask about people and like really take an interest in them and all that kind of stuff, because it's just like, yeah, he's so self-absorbed and so egotistical, and I get why, because like, let's be perfectly honest, I don't see it
as egotistical. I see it as him having to be so closed off that he doesn't even know how to have that exchange without slipping into, so he's got the walls up.
Yes, that's very fair. You're right. Egotistical is not the right word, but he's definitely self-involved because it's just his whole life. He hasn't had a friend. He hasn't had that ability to connect with other people. His life is his craft. So it's just like, and you're in your own head about that all the time. So I get why these things are not coming naturally to him. It's not like he doesn't care. He just doesn't know how to do them. You know. So it's Trevor being like, hey, do this, and him stumbling upon it and all that kind of stuff.
With that one woman where he's like, sorry, so what's the difference about the slush and the ice? And then he immediately goes into like,
yes,
there's a Norwegian director who, I'm like, come on, man, no.
Yeah.
But I liked the comedy of all of that. But I did find it painful when he was with Vivian. I was just like, but I like where they ended it, where she's like, well, you know, like, you deserve to have someone you can trust. And I'm like, yes, he does. Yes, you're right, Vivian. Now go live your life somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, I would never expose your secret, because I like that layer to it, which is that it's not that he doesn't have people who care about him in his life. It's just he doesn't know how to connect because he's holding on to this secret, which he's not holding on to a secret with his mother and brother, obviously. No. That's very obvious. And I like that the show's not explicitly stating that, but it's so very clear from how they interact that that's not a secret he could keep from them. But to the same extent, it wasn't a secret he could keep from Vivian. She was like, yeah, I lived with you. I especially from what he can do, is like, you would start being like, I think Simon did this. But yeah, he thinks he's covered his bases when he finds out she didn't say anything, but then right before the meeting with Friedman, he gets a call from his mom who's like, yeah, I talked to the New York Times, and he's like, fuck. And she's like, oh, and then say hello from, she actively is like, who do you think I am? I would definitely never tell your secret. Like,
right.
That's not, no, that's such a, yeah, no. But then she's like, oh, and say hi from me and Eric. And he's like, my brother, no, like, how can I forget about that? And that's where he has to do the box breathing again, because he's like, my brother definitely told. And then I do like the subversion of expectations, which is he goes into the meeting and she's just like, oh no, your mom and brother are amazing people, they said nothing but great things, and he gets to have this validation from his brother of like, he's so proud of you, he thinks you're a great person. But then Trevor tries to show his mom again. He's like, speaking of moms, I know you can't talk to mine, but here's some pictures. Like, yeah, we'll work back to that. Let me talk about your recent past. And I thought she was going to talk about the Mandarin. But then she's like, no, you got arrested right when you came to LA. It's like, did you make a deal? And I'm like, oh, this is how this comes out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was not expecting this at all. And I love how he's just like, I would make a deal. That's not me. I would make a deal. And just watching Simon being like, this motherfucker made a deal.
He made a deal.
So that he storms off from the interview.
Yep.
From that gotcha journalism. And yeah, I was dreading it, and it definitely, I can't say I cried, but I was definitely very upset in a good way during this scene where Simon is basically, you did have a deal, right? Like, this is the whole thing, is you were trying to get me. And the way Trevor's like at a loss, like he's been able to, it's what made me like Trevor a lot, was that everything else he could kind of joke away. Even in Shang-Chi, it was all a joke to him. But this is him like desperately searching for the words, and like when he's like, well, how are you going to fix it? And he's like, I don't know, like all of that stuff. I'm just like, yeah, this is a big deal. But also Trevor being like, or sorry, Simon realizing, oh, so I didn't have a friend. I thought I had a friend. And the only way that this person wanted to be my friend was so that they could capture me. I was just like, I feel so bad for both of them, but mostly Simon. But I did feel bad for Trevor because, as you said, he obviously wasn't along for the plan the whole way. There was a point where he was like, well, I just like Simon.
Like he realized that, and he played it true and all that kind of stuff.
And the final dagger of that was a hell of a performance. I'm like, oh fuck, he brought the one thing that you two agree on into it too. Like that's rough stuff.
Was very effective writing in there, and
it's
just like,
it's the only thing that made him cry. Like before, he would like get all thing and smash things. Well, whatever, he'd do his Wonder Man power. I don't know. This show's not really that interested in that, but like it made it seem like I was saying he would hit things. No, he vibrates and things break. This was him actually crying because as I said, I did not want this to happen, but I knew it had to for it to be a good show, and they did not disappoint on how upsetting it was.
Yes, and then obviously at the end of the episode, after that, Simon does his whole freak out thing, explosion on set. Yeah, and
he broke a complete set. I should mention it is interesting because I would say it was interesting that Simon being black did not seem like a deterrent. There's another point where I find it odd in this upcoming episode, but I was like, they're doing so well of capturing all the other stuff, but it does seem like they should be acknowledging that people would be shitty about a black man playing Wonder Man, especially if it was an 80s classic.
Correct.
Meaning that it would have been before it would have been before people cared about comic book adaptations, and it would have just been like a thing that everyone liked.
Yes. And
I think we know how people treat that kind of stuff.
I know.
So I was like,
well too.
it's weird that they're not getting it. And then this second half of episode 8, I'm like, okay, well now they're really just pushing it. But I just found that interesting. But what the DODC is saying throughout the whole show is that they just need bodies in these prisons they've created. Like,
yes, these ultra prisons.
So focusing on the black guy makes sense in that way. I'm like, let's get the black one, the black mutant. Get him. Yeah, get him.
Because let's be perfectly honest with the DODC up until this point, and just a quick reminder for our listening base, like in Ms. Marvel, racially stereotyped a whole mosque. Yes. You know what I mean? And all like the clandestines that they did capture, guess what? They all got away. so it's like they're really, and the whole perspective of the DODC is like, we need to be able to fill this up, otherwise our funding gets cut and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. So it's not even like he's a threat, really. It's just I don't know, get that guy.
Yeah, like it would make sense on paper. Like, who the fuck cares about him? Let's just like save our own asses and all that kind of stuff. Which to me, I'm like, yeah, that's a very believable motive that DODC would have, or any government agent and all that. And like, it makes a lot of sense why they would just like, again, focusing on the fact that it's a black man with no friends and all this kind of stuff. It's like, and he's got these powers, so we can play up any narrative what we want. And
episode 8. I guess this is where we found out about the burgers and the glasses.
Sure.
So we can skip over that. Trevor sees the damage that Simon created, and this is where I was like, nah, I'm down with Trevor. He's like, how can I help my friend at this point? So there's like a big fake out, which I think is effective this time, where you see helicopters over Simon's apartment, and you're like, yeah, they're gonna get him, because there's nothing he can do to cover that up. And instead, Trevor goes back into the Mandarin persona and makes another video. They teased it earlier in the show, but then he goes back. I have another lesson for you, America, and he talks about the ills of cinema and how it likes to, dumb down the masses. And he's like, so I took out the Wonder Man movie. That's me. I did that. And everyone will be like, yeah, that makes sense. It was the Mandarin. And Cleary, even when he picks him up, is like,
I know.
I'm gonna let you take the fall, but I'm still coming for Simon. And I look at he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I was the Mandarin the whole time, and you didn't see me coming. Or when he gets picked up, and he's just like, what took you imbeciles so long?
Yes.
But yeah, he was great. But before that reveal, he calls Simon, and I like that Simon picked up, because he's like, you're still my friend. He's just like, hey, I figured it out. And he's like, oh, I'm really happy for you. He's like, it's a beautiful moment of like, I've messed up every situation I've ever had. Please don't mess this up. Like, this is your chance. You were born to play this role. This is important. And so he sees that on TV. He's upset, but then Terrell from the production is like, oh yeah, Vaughn doesn't take days off. Like, you're being called to set. I know this sucks because that was your friend, but we're still going to do this. So he has to perform to tennis balls, but he's still doing a great job, even though he's performing to a tennis ball. And then we get to see him, his mom, and Eric at the premiere, where I guess we never said that Joe Pantoliano was in this.
Yes.
Because he does stick up for Trevor with Joe Pantoliano, and the running thing here is that Joe Pantoliano stole a role from Trevor, which feels like it was like sort of like an ER type show. And Joey Pants steals this role from Trevor, and so yeah, that's the big payoff to that joke. And I think you see Eric crying. And yes. I think there's an element of, like my brother is legitimately good at this, but he would also have known what that would have meant to his dad.
Yes.
So yeah, I really liked that. And obviously the mom was like, yeah, I knew you were going to be great. I can't believe Barnaby did that to you. And that Vaughn Kovacs is like, yeah, we could never top this, but we should probably stay in touch and see if we can.
Think about if we could,
yeah, I think someone saw that some of the promotional material said that the Wonder Man movie in universe is 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That needs an intermission. Oh my god.
I'm not a fan of intermissions, if I'm being honest. I think it ruins the flow of things.
It absolutely does, but my bladder does not like a 3-hour runtime. I get where you're coming from. I'm just like, oh man, especially after Avatar, I'm like, no, that needed an intermission for sure.
That's it went over well, and that's great. And we also skipped over the part where Trevor advised him not to take any roles until Wonder Man came out, which very famously was what Tarantino told Travolta about Pulp Fiction. Like, hey, don't accept anything until after Pulp Fiction comes out. I'm sure it happens for many actors, but that's what's top of mind for me.
Sure.
And that worked out, because then you're getting like real offers now that people have seen this. And uh, he takes on his new role where he's going to play, obviously, a DODC employee, and I'm like, so no one in this family or the thing is like, why is this black man who's very clearly younger than you playing you? Mm-hmm. The guy's just like, oh, well, you're just trying to get into good of shape. I'm like, I don't think that would be your only complaint. I don't think you like superhero movies that much that you'd be like, yeah, it makes sense that this black guy will play me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was just me being like, they're stretching it a bit too far now.
It was stretched a bit too far because I'm just like, with what you said, with the whole fact that like nobody gave a shit about the fact that there was a racial
or that they didn't touch
mix
on it
and all that kind of stuff. They didn't touch on it, and I'm like, you're doing it again with this guard. I'm like, no. At least give me a.
There
black,
would be a black guard there.
Yeah, there would be so many black guards. I'm like, give me a black guard. It wouldn't feel any better that he's like screwing that family over.
But get that they needed to do it so that you didn't know initially. Like, I think most people who were engaged, like me, understood what the plan was right away. But
sure,
you need some plausible deniability that he's just doing a war hero instead of just a DODC person.
Sure.
I mean, that's still, there's got to be older black men. It's because it was like the age and the race thing where I'm just like, I don't get it.
I think they,
like, oh, I'm playing you at a younger age, but he also didn't give him full details on what he was doing.
Yeah, which is, I'm like, I like the fact that he keeps going like NDA.
Yeah, I can't tell you. But yeah, he gets him into the DODC. He's seen by Cleary, but doesn't really matter. Someone else sees him and he's like, oh yeah, you saw me doing karaoke, and the guy's just like, yes. I mean, he starts singing the song, but he's just like, yeah, sure, I don't care anymore. Yeah. And he breaks out Trevor, but not before saying, like, Trevor being like, hey, how did it turn out? And he's like, it would have been better if you were Barnaby. He's like, oh, who was Barnaby? De Niro? Pierce Brosnan? I always get confused with that. He's like, man, Joey Pants stole it from me again. I like that. But yeah, he basically is like, hey, we got to hurry up. They're going to come. And he's like, oh, we're not going that way. And they fly out to the song from Midnight Cowboy.
Very on the nose with that.
Which is played, I mean, kind of a, sorry for people who haven't seen that movie. Ratso Rizzo dies, so it's not really like Midnight Cowboy. I mean, I guess I shouldn't care. They show you that in this show. They show you that he dies right away. So if you've seen the show, you already have that spoiler. I didn't spoil that for you. But yeah, he dies, so it's not really the same. It actually is like, he actually is saving him this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the show. No post credits on anything. Just a really well written show about an actor who has powers in the MCU.
Yep, and that makes a best friend. One that you would
much
break
needed
them
friend.
out. Yeah, one that you would break them out of jail for.
Well, you're willing to risk it. So it's like, as I said, Trevor makes that sacrifice of like, now I potentially have the Mandarin's family on my ass for doing this again. And Simon has potentially ruined any chance of him acting ever again.
Yes.
Because their friendship meant more to each other.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's nice.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Well, we did go through all the episodes.
We very much did.
Did you want to rate it now?
Oh my god, yes. This is like a 9.5 to me.
Yeah, this is a 10 for me. I just kept thinking about it. I thought at first, like, oh, it's just a nice story. I'm like, no, I've never stopped thinking about it since I watched it the day of. And then I rewatched it for notes, but I was just like, no, this is truly top 3 Disney Plus shows for me.
I think this takes the first place for me.
Oh, well,
I think it
that just
really,
means I have
really
2 10s
does.
in front of it.
Yeah, that's true. Because I can't remember what I rate the other ones and that, like, all this kind of stuff. But I'm just like, if I was to rank them, I would probably put this at number 1.
Yeah, it is a great show.
It spoke to me so well. I like how it pokes fun at itself. I like how it pokes fun at Hollywood. And I like all those deep cut things where it's like Joe Pantaleone and then this character and Josh Gad and all those kind of stuff. And I was just like, who the hell's Josh Gad going to play? I'm like, oh, he's playing a douchebag version of himself. That's awesome. Like, and then Mario Lopez too. I'm just like, okay, okay, this show.
Listen,
is really
I'm a big
good.
Saved by the Bell fan, but we gotta get Mario Lopez off of our screens. That
Yeah.
guy needs a timeout.
Yeah, no, he's not great, but like it's because what I meant by the Mario Lopez thing was like I hope they don't give him a real role,
No,
and it's like
he's-
oh okay they gave him a cameo role like that.
I mean, he
okay,
plays the
we're
role
good
he
with that.
always does. He's on
Yeah.
extra. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like okay good because I was like are they really gonna give him a character in the MCU? And this was nope they did not because you're right he's famously not great.
I mean, that doesn't stop them from who they hire, but
That's
it
true.
stops me from fully enjoying things, and I'm glad that I don't have to deal with him as much. Yeah, he is in it. Yeah, this is a truly great show that I feel like I saw people saying it's like Andor, and at first I was like, no, it's not. But then I realized what they really mean is it's stripped down all the things that might be seen as bells and whistles about the thing it was engaging in and told a meaningful story, which I do agree Andor does. I don't think it's as good as Andor, but I do think it is a really good show, only because Andor is talking about something so important for everyone to engage in.
Right.
But, I mean, I gave this a 10. I think it knocked it out of the park in terms of what it wanted to talk about, and I have not stopped thinking about it, and I don't think I will stop thinking about it.
Yeah. I'm thinking my 9.5 is a little bit low, because I do consider it to be. Yeah, I'll firmly say I'm like this is my favorite, like the top one out of all the Marvel shows and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like the only thing that makes me mad about it. I'm like, oh man, they're probably not going to redo this again.
Yeah, doesn't seem like that's how Destin Daniel Cretton feels. It feels like he thinks he's got another season coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, he just said, well, in the first season of this happens, which to me implies that he thinks there's going to be a second season.
I'm all on board with that because I think there's a very interesting reason why he went that deep into the whole doorman thing and all that kind of stuff. I think it could relate to the Mr. Negative if that's the villain in the Spider-Man thing. But I'm just like, I'm a big fan of Destin Daniel Cretton in what he's done for Marvel, and it's just like this is
he's
great,
got two
great
solid
example.
projects.
Absolutely.
And he's doing Brand New Day. So, yeah, this is proof that I'm not just a big curmudgeon that doesn't like things. I love this. And next week we'll be back in Fallout Land for episode 7 and 8. So let's hope that goes well.
Hopefully it's a different tone then. But I'm just glad that we got this and we're just so high on it because
it's amazing.
When I watched this, I'm like, there's no way you didn't love this.
No, it was great.
This has got all the marks of everything that we love. So it's great.
Well, let us know what you thought of Wonder Man the show. You can contact us at TDF Spoiled on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Lemonade, YouTube, and you can email us spoiledpodcast@gmail.com. You can rate, review, subscribe, follow, share with your friends on any podcast platform of your choice, and you can definitely go to tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten to find more of our coordinates and the full catalog of shows. Yeah, do that. And as I said, we'll be back with the final 2 episodes of Fallout next week. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.